Okay, so before I start telling you Dave Ramsey is wrong, I just want to say that I do really like Dave Ramsey. I think he has a lot of really great financial advice. He has helped me tremendously in my life. I started following him about 6 or 7 years ago. At the time, I really had no experience with finances. My parents never really taught me anything about finances, other than my dad said, hey, you should read Dave Ramsey's book. And I did. I read Total Money Makeover, and it really educated me a whole lot and caused me to make a lot of really smart financial choices. So, I want to tell you why I think Dave Ramsey is wrong some of the time when it comes to buying a house. I think that his ideas behind buying a house work for most people most of the time. Let me read to you what his tips are so you know what I'm talking about. Number one, this came directly from his website. Number one, can I make a 10 to 20% down payment? Number two, can I afford a 15-year fixed rate loan? Number three, can I keep the house payment at or below 25% of my take-home pay? So I think that's really great advice for most people. It will keep you in affordable housing and you're not going to go over budget with your house. However, my situation is I am a low income single parent, and I decided that I needed to go ahead and buy a house despite the fact that none of these applied to me. And it has turned out well. I bought a house 5 years ago, and I now have $50,000 to $60,000 of equity in the house. And I want to explain to you how I did it and why you should consider it if you are in a similar situation, or think about Dave Ramsey's tips and see if maybe it doesn't work for your situation. Because I'm a single parent, I know that my income is going to be low for several more years because my kids were little. When I first bought my house, my kids were only 2 and 4. I think that it is important for me to spend time with my kids versus trying to have a big career right now. I am in school. I am almost done with a bachelor's in finance. I plan on, when they're older, having a career, but right now my job is raising my kids. So, and I don't want to pursue a high income right now, and I knew that going in. However, I still needed a place to live. I was paying $600 a month in rent, and I was going to be doing that for a long time. I didn't have any plans of trying to lower my rent because that's pretty cheap rent. So I started looking for foreclosure houses that needed some renovation. There is a loan out there called an FHA 203K renovation loan, and it is specifically for low-income families who are willing and able to do renovation on the house that they find. So I found a house. I was able to buy the house for $79,000, and I got $8,000 in a renovation loan tacked on to the home loan to do, renovations on the house before I was able to close on the house. It was not a simple process. It took at least 6 months to close on the house, especially with it being a foreclosure. I mean, it was a hassle, but it was a very good financial decision. I did not have 10 to 20% to put down on the house. I actually did not put anything down on the house. I did not do a 15-year fixed rate loan. I did a 30-year adjustable rate mortgage. The interest rate started out really low. It was 3.65%, and it was going to stay 3.65% for 5 years. And then it can go up 1% a year for a total of 3% or something. I'm not positive on that exactly, but I looked at it and I thought, well, the interest rate's starting out so low, it's not that big of a deal. In 5 years I can refinance. In 5 years I can sell the house, which is actually what I'm going to be doing. But the 5 years just came up and the rate did change. However, it went down to 2.65%, and my mortgage is now $40 cheaper. So adjustable rate mortgage is not always a horrible thing, especially if you start out at a low interest rate, which interest rates right now are very low. Can I keep the house payment at or below 25% of my take-home pay? I'm low income. I was paying $600 of rent, which is more than 25% of my take-home pay, and my mortgage payment ended up being cheaper than my rent payment, and that included taxes and insurance. So I'm gonna have to pay for shelter either way, and I might as well be paying that to a mortgage versus renting. And it's a mortgage that I know I am investing in. So when I went to look for houses, I did not just go buy a cheap house. I found a house that I knew I could renovate and it would end up making me money in the long run, which is what it has done. So I am getting ready to sell my house. The equity in the house is about $50,000 to $60,000 that I have earned over the past 5 years. And I'm going to be building a tiny house. Without a mortgage, you'll be completely debt free. So, then my house payment will be below 25% of my take home pay. But my point is that Dave Ramsey's tips are great for most people. However, if you are in a low income situation and your income is really not going to increase in the foreseeable future, still consider purchasing a house. I mean, and you're having to pay rent. Now, if you have somebody to live with and you don't have to pay rent, I mean, that's a good viable option too. But buying a house is investing. And if you research it and do it in the right way, it can be a profitable source of income for you. So don't read Dave Ramsey's tips and say, well, man, I can't buy a house. Because really, it is a good investment opportunity if you go about it the right way and you research it and you do get something that's affordable and you do put a little work into it. I've done a whole lot of renovations to the house. I enjoy doing that kind of stuff though, so it hasn't been that big of a deal. But look up, the FHA 203K renovation loan if you don't know what it is, and maybe you can purchase a house that's going to be an investment for you. And I think that is a really good option for people who are not making a whole lot of money. But thanks for watching. And if you have any questions, I know there's probably going to be some people that completely disagree with me, and that's okay. But it's what's worked for me, and I really think that it can work for other people too. So thanks for watching, and make sure you check out my channel if you want other some of my experiences being a single parent and some of the ways that I have financially. I have a puppy that is barking and it is really frustrating me. Anyway, thanks for watching. Check out my channel. Look for other frugal tips, single parent tips. I also homeschool my kids. So thanks. Bye.